Okay, while we wait for our apron to flash off or dry, we'll finish this, getting the cabinet ready. I sanded the outside, I've seen that before, and now I'm just unmasking the inside and put this out of the way. In a minute, I'll do like, might be fun to do like the first person or the body cam version of silk screen the head. That might be fun. Okay, let's screen print this head. This is easy work. People act like it's hard, like everything else. It's not. All right, so let me see. Got my screen. Just lay that right here. Make sure it's pretty clean. Yeah, I think it's clean enough for ink to come through. Let me double check. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, so there's that. I've made this little, basically I've made this little thing. It's just like, it helps me put it exactly where I want it to be each and every time. All right, so far we're a minute in. We got the screen on, we got it down. People will tell you gotta flood the screen and do all this crazy stuff. You don't. I just use a spoonful of ink, maybe 2 spoons. Doesn't take much. The more of it you use, the bigger your mess is gonna be. That's really all you're accomplishing. Okay, we got that right. Grab our squeegee. Make sure it's where we want it. It is. Make sure this is a pretty good vantage point. All right, here we go. Are you ready? There it is. We just screened the head. 1 minute, 50 seconds. All right, now, you don't want to know about the cleanup. I'll be back. I told you that was going to be easy. That was easy enough. Turned out great. So the next move for this will be to get it out of here, put it in the room where I build everything, and we'll put some decals on the cabinet. The lower's already down there. There's the lower cabinet. We're going to worry about decaling that in a minute. First thing I really want to do is clear off my little mobile workbench because I need it for the playfield setup, you know, T-nutting and that kind of thing. And so as a result, I need to go ahead and put this lamp panel together. So I'll do that real quick. I got it kind of laid out a little bit. I got an understanding of where everything goes. The main thing is getting these staple down sockets in the right spot because these are going to hold the blinker bulbs, what are they, 455s, I think, something like that. I made new labels. I put those on. They're not quite as straight and perfect as I like, not because I can't get them straight and perfect. Obviously, we know better than that, but I need to put them exactly where they used to be in order to cover that staining of the glue. And I could have got a new panel. It's not a big deal, but just don't need one really. I mean, it's good. There's nothing wrong with this one. I'll use it, and once I put all the wires on there, it's gonna look nice. So, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use bare wire or if I'm gonna use insulated wire and just strip it, but before I do anything, I guess I'll go ahead and staple the sockets on down and get that done. All right. First things first, let's staple some of the stuff down. All right, we've got our sockets stapled down. To tie these together, I'm going to use insulated wire, not the bare wire, because that does create shorts. But I will use this. It's kind of a tan color. I like this a lot for anytime I'm doing this on MDF. It just matches up nice. It kind of disappears in there. Let's see here. may not need to staple much of this, but when I'm stripping this, I usually try to strip it from the, towards what I just soldered, not away from it, but like that, that's doing it. That's doing its job. Probably be able to tie this away from the label some, but I don't think there's any way it's not gonna cross it. Yay. All right, now what? All right, we got that done. Let's throw the harness on there. The wire looks good. Let me just double check the end of it. I mean, if it needs a new connector or something like that, not a big deal, but as long as the wire looks good, it's easy to change it, but I don't need to if I don't need to. I know these solder onto here at some point right around in here, so I'm gonna have to figure it out. All right, we got that mapped out. That's the only problem when I have these pictures on my phone. I have to stop what I'm doing. I have a lot of pictures on my little, of course I call it my shop computer here. These are some really old pictures. I mean, some of these 22 years old. But they don't always show me what I need to see because back then I wasn't really breaking things down as far as I do now. So, and in all honesty, it didn't need it as much. But these days, man, you're gonna have to do it. I mean, if you want to get to a very high level with it. Typically these sockets are really brittle, but these were in really nice shape. These are a little bit different than what I'm used to seeing. They're usually more of this translucent, natural looking nylon. These are a little bit more white and rubbery, and I wish they always made them like that, and I wish they still made them. We really need this part right here, these light sockets that go in here, but nobody seems too interested in making them. All right, one thing I almost forgot to do before I test this thing, and that is solder these wires to the blinkers. And we'll catch this one over here. Okay, I feel good about that. All right, everything is officially wired now and everything's labeled, everything's built. Lamp panel looks good. We'll plug it into our lamp tester. Push that on there and flick the switch. And there it is, everything is working. See if the lights start blinking. Yep. Oh yeah, everything's blinking, everything's working. Just double check it. All right, our lamp panel is good to go. Got the play field out of the way. I can finish gutting this cabinet. I got most of the wires pulled through over here, but man, it's hard to get them apart when people have hardwired stuff together like this. This is a damn mess right here, but it's not that big a deal. I mean, we just Let me just rework it. Okay, that separates this. You know, people put this stuff in your house, man. I mean, this is dangerous. I mean, I'm not just making this up. I'm telling you the truth. This is, you don't want a bunch of exposed wires and all this weird stuff in here like this. This is not good. All right. Let's do this. Let's pop this transformer out and deal with that real quick. Maybe you take this wire out of here too. All these wiring harnesses out of here. Get them out of the way and get them clean. Not sure what's going on here. They're probably tapping 12 volts, or they got coin switch ground. This is tied to 4th leg, which is 12 volts. You know what? I don't even really know. Let's just go over here and get this off of here. Take that off of there. Just kind of tap it just to make sure none of these legs are touching together. All right, we'll wash that in a minute with some other stuff we gotta wash. Put it in there. Okay. So we got our harnesses off. And let's pop this. I bet you we're gonna see something good inside of this power box. I have a feeling. Yeah, I knew it. Look at that. Look at that. What a mess. No protection. Straight wired. Fuse holders loose. Not good. So, I mean, we're getting into a point with this right now. I mean, it's beyond, here's the cosmetics, and this is ugly, and this is beat up. Now you start talking about, you know, safety issues. I mean, seriously. And, you know, anytime you're messing around with one of these transformers and one of these power boxes in a pinball machine, it's, you know, it's not good. So basically what they've done is they've eliminated the interlock. And again, I got no problem with that. I do that sometimes myself. I mean, especially on the Addams family, you can make the argument that there's 20,000 Addams families out there with no interlock. So that's fine. It's just the technicality of the time that this was built in 94 that, yeah, they would put the interlock in there. But so you have that, and that's fine. But then you start talking about these terrible conversions, this no effort, no safety conversions. And then you see where they've bypassed, there's no thermistor in there anymore, or varistor. All right, I'm just gonna finish getting this thing out of my way. Okay, we got the old one out of our way. Got a nice landing spot for the new cabinet right here. We're gonna get that thing decaled and ground braided up on this dolly. Got the new playfield waiting, but can't do a whole lot right now until we go through this table of parts that just came out of what was left of the game still. So this, just need to regrain this. I straightened it out. It was really bent, but not too hard to straighten it out. Some of these brackets, they got black overspray and paint overspray all over them. This transformer, it is rough. I mean, rough. It's bad. I mean, the conversion's bad on it. Go ahead and separate these two wires. Yeah, so I got 4 wires. One good thing I'll say is at least they cut them close to the plug. I'll have to make a whole new plug for it though, because this one's broken. You can see it's cracked. I do have another one, so that's good. So basically I'm gonna need to wash this. I try not to get it super wet, but there's no cleaning this, just wiping at it. It's gonna have to be washed, so I'll try not to get it wet down within the windings, but the wires and stuff is lightly, and we'll put it out there and in the sun, let it dry, we'll blow it dry, whatever we gotta do, but it'll be fine. It won't get powered up with any moisture in it, so we won't have any concerns there. Bolts, gotta put them down in these holes and bead blast them and metal etch them and paint them black. This backboard needs to be refinished. These are all of our plastic parts. We want to wash all this stuff. It's just plastic. Power box to rebuild. It's trash. We're gonna turn it into a US power box, so it'll have its outlet here as it should have, and of course it'll have all its proper protections in place, which are currently missing, which is alarming but not surprising. Now, what else do we have? Right here, I just kind of got the wires thrown on this box. I'm gonna be heading out the door with them right now, and we'll wash some of this stuff and we'll pick through it. Grab this transformer. I know that thing's going out there. Let's button up some of these minor details. We got these bolts here. They're ready to bead blast. We'll throw these in here. Blast those. All right, yeah, those are blasted. All right, we got the bolts stripped and blacked out. We got everything we need to blacked out is pretty much what it comes down to. So this stuff won't be fit to use until tomorrow, but we don't need it right now anyway. All right, what else? All right, making some progress on my power box. Got everything rewired inside. It now has a service outlet, correct protections in place, and I have new wire coming from the switch to the transformer to replace that chewed up wire that was on there. You might wonder why I've got 2 wires coming out instead of, well, I guess technically 4 instead of the 2 that were coming out. It's just a size issue. It's 18 gauge, just like the factory, but the jacket on here, the insulation is not quite as thick as that. It's kind of a unique wire that they would use to pass through. So I want to make sure that mine sets really tight in the cable clamp or the grommet that it passes through. So as a result, I'm using 2 wires. It's doing the same thing, but just gonna make sure it sets really snug in that strain relief. All right, let's finish up what we're doing today and call it good. So we got pretty deep into all the power structure, I'll call it, of the game, you know, your transformer and power box. I built up this brand new power box and labeled it, and it's US specs now. It's got a service outlet. All the internals are US specs. Everything's wired, new wiring coming out of there. And I cleaned and refinished this transformer, and I'm ready to build up what I have and mate them together. And I'm gonna do that right here so I know everything matches up. And then what that's gonna do is give us a nice safe game, and a game that's gonna hopefully power up. I was really put off by this. I didn't capture this on here, but what I couldn't believe when I actually took the power box apart when I was doing the actual work, there was no fuse in here at all. There was no fuse. I don't know if, I didn't see where it was bypassed. So I mean, did it just come in here not working? I mean, I don't know. I never tried to turn it on. It doesn't matter to me. It's gonna leave here working no matter what, so it's not important. But yeah, no fuse in there at all. So just crazy. So I'll get a little bit closer in here. I'm not doing the body cam right now because this work, I noticed when I try to do that, I'm moving around a lot. I'm all over the place, and you just wind up seeing a lot of cabinets and wires and the floor and stuff. So we'll just focus on what we need to focus on here. So they did what I would consider to be an improper conversion. They did it on this side of the transformer plug where the two mate together. A proper conversion or a pin out for whatever country or voltage you're using usually needs to take place on the switch side coming out of the power box right here. And some of this terminology may or may not be technically correct. It's just the way I see it, the way it works in my mind. You don't go to school for this stuff. You kind of figure it out as you go. So point being, I'm gonna make sure I make a proper conversion on this switch side of the plug and fix everything that's going on right here coming off the transformer. I've cleaned it, I've rebuilt it, it looks nice. You know, I've refinished it, I should say. So at this point, I'm gonna change the style of Molex connectors to a newer style. It's the exact same thing, they're 9-pin Molex, but it's just a newer style, a newer housing. The lock is a little bit better, and it's a little bit cleaner than what I have here. I have versions of this, the exact plug that's on there, or the exact Molex is on there, but they're old. The only way you're gonna get these is off of like an old dollar bill validator or something like that. You can't buy the style new that I'm aware of, so I'd rather just go with the new one and have at least the visual appeal of a new one. And of course it's exactly the same connector anyway, just a little bit different shape and style. It's kind of keyed in a way you can only plug it in a certain way, whereas this one is the same but not as technical. It doesn't have those square edged ends that only insert this way. It's more of like the lock just dictates that it has to go this way. So that's what I'm gonna do. I got some extra wire here too to make that proper conversion. We'll do that, and we'll see how it all fits together. And you know, we'll be crossing our fingers when we throw the switch on this one. Okay, that looks pretty good. We'll clip this brown one. We'll see how short we have to make it fit in there properly. Probably about right here. These will be our jumpers. Let me cut away for a minute. I'll get an idea of how this needs to be configured within the plug, and then I'll do it. Okay, got my point of reference. Let's see if I can sort that out on here. I made some marks on it. I don't know what this thing's doing in the center, but you know, it's probably wherever it was from. They made whatever connections they made on the other side, but it should basically be on the edges. You want to jump the white stuff on this side and the black stuff on that side. So let me see how that looks on what I'm doing. Okay. Unhook this. All right, I think this is a good proper conversion. Well, it's not even a conversion anymore because it's just correct. So I believe this is gonna work. We did it. We got everything in order here. We hope. We'll know when we throw the switch, but theoretically everything is wired properly. It looks good. No hacks, no safety issues. Everything's got its protections in place. It's fused. It's upgraded to US specs, so it looks like a good US game inside and out. And, you know, this should work out well. Good conversion here. None of this butchery on the wrong side of the plug. I mean, I feel good about it. We'll see when we throw the switch. We'll be nervous. I mean, you wonder why I'm nervous when I throw the switch. People ask me, it's like, you're still nervous, you know, after doing all these? Yeah. I'm nervous, not because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm nervous because of what I'm being dealt to deal with. You know what I mean? But, you know, there it is. I think it's good, so we'll call it good for the day.